Welcome back, everybody. Episode 80 of Canes Local. Today we'll talk Brandon Bussi, milestones for the Hurricanes, and trades around the league, all coming up next. All right, guys, let's dive right into it. Apologize the voice this morning. It's I wasn't so certain I was going to be able to talk this morning, but hey, we're gonna power through. So right off the bat, let's dive into Brandon Bussi. I mean, I think he was he was a find at this point, and I think Cam, you mentioned it early on, or not early on, just recently, that we're now at a good sample size of what he can do and how he plays and how the guys play in front of him. So I guess initial thoughts on the 10-1 start for the waiver-wire pickup.
I mean, he's been lights out. I mean, not much else to say to that. He's stolen games. He's given us chances to win. And that's all you need out of a goaltender. He's made big saves when we need big saves. He hasn't been perfect. He hasn't gotten shutouts on all 10 of those wins, but that's not what we're expecting out of him. We're just expecting him to keep us in games when we need him to keep us in games. And the last Washington game was a perfect example of that. I mean, we go down 2-1, start of the third period. He makes a couple 10-bell saves to keep it at 2-1. And then right after that, we go and we end up tying it up late in the game with Logan Stankoven. And so it's exactly what we need out of him. It's perfect to see. And it's finally nice to, I don't want to say this very lightly, but it's nice to have a goalie that's making those saves. I'm not going to quite say a true number one yet because, again, I'm scarred by this Andrew Hammond run that happened probably 10 years back where he played 20 games and it was the best hockey you've ever seen. He kind of forced Ottawa into playoffs, and then all of a sudden,
the Hamburglar, they call him.
Hamburglar, yeah. Then all of a sudden,
he stealing it, man.
Fell into a bush or something like that. I don't know where he went to, but it's just I want to see it continue 100%. But yeah, I agree. The sample size is getting to the point now where it's like I think this is the goalie that we are seeing is just what he is, and I kind of pulled up his numbers just to kind of go over it a little bit.
Let's go in there with Cam too. Yeah, the numbers.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I pulled up his career numbers. I mean, at the USHL level, he had a 2.44 with a 9.15. Those are great numbers. Western Michigan, 2 of his years, he had his freshman year, 2.65, 34 games played, 2.65 with a 9.10. And then his junior year, he had a 2.55 with a 9.12. And every year in the AHL. So first full season in the AHL, he had a 2.40 with a 9.24. Second full year in the AHL, 2.67 with a 9.13. And then last year he had a 2.77 with a 9.07. And then so far with the Hurricanes this year, a 2.07 with a 9.10. It's hard to beat. And he's tied for, I think, 3rd or 4th in wins so far as a goalie. And he's only had 11 starts. I mean, you look around the league. I think Logan Thompson's leading it, but I think he's almost got 20 starts on the season already. So
he's almost started over 3/4 of the games. Yeah,
in 10 less games, he's 3rd in wins. I mean, Logan Thompson's leading the league, I think, with 13 currently out of, I think, 20 games played. Again, I could be a little bit wrong on that number, but the fact that we're getting this level of goaltending out of him when he was literally on waivers is the craziest thing. And Thank you. I don't know how they keep doing this to us, but I really love it. First, it was Seth Jarvis because they wanted to get rid of Patrick Marleau. But thank you, Toronto. Thank you, Toronto, for picking up Caden Primo because they hadn't picked up Caden Primo. We weren't going out and getting Brandon Bussi. So all of a sudden, it's like, hey, cool. Thank you, Toronto. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Toronto seems to help everybody else other than themselves.
Yeah.
So
they definitely helped the Canes out a couple times now.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I don't really know what the it kind of the better he is for the longer he is, it kind of really makes you wonder what's going to happen, because he really, I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, it really just depends on. I know Freddie's only signed to a 1 year, so he's not, you know, and
We
then
know that's
it's
not the long-term solution.
yeah, and they know that too. That's why they keep signing him to 1 year contracts. So is it one of those where do you dish Freddie before the trade deadline to get something back? Because you know how many goalies or how many. I mean, look at what Edmonton just gave up to get Jari. Like, could you imagine what some team's going to give up to get friggin' Freddie Andersen on a $1 million contract or $2 million contract?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even if it is only for a few months, like they know they'll probably get to re-sign him too. So I don't know. I think it
Yeah.
maybe does it get to that point, or are we at the point currently, because it's gonna be hard to do three goalies. Like you got to pick
Yeah.
two and run with them at some point. You can't do the three goalie tandem. That's not gonna work, because
Yeah.
somebody's getting the short end of the stick. They have to.
And nobody's getting sent down cleanly either. So everybody's gonna have
Yeah,
to hit the
and there's no way
waiver wire,
they can't put any of them on waivers, obviously, because they'll get picked up really quick. So
Yeah.
it's
No, for sure.
use the assets you have, and I really think if Bussi continues to play well, like if he plays he'll probably play another 2 or 3 games in the next couple weeks. If he continues to play well, I expect him to have a stinker at one game. I expect him to, not play well in a game here soon.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't so far, but
Yeah.
again, he's been stellar, man. I can't you can't say it's just a flash in the pan at this point, because he's played too many games and he's played too well.
Yeah, yeah, no, and to Kyle's point, and I was going there with the stat side of it, but historically, I mean, he's right on par for what he does normally. So, and we said probably, I don't know, it's been a while since we've been on, so we said probably 2 or 3 episodes ago that if we could get a goalie that's right around that little over 2 goals against with over a 900 save percentage, that's all we want. That's all we need. But I think the biggest thing with him right now that's different from the other two, I'm not writing anybody off at this point, but he's making those early saves that, Kochekov's not making right now, and I'm gonna give him a lot of rope because he's coming off injury. So
coming off back-to-back injuries too.
Yeah, so Freddie, Freddie is just not making those saves right now, and I just, I wish. If we had a Freddie that's making those saves, then I mean we got a 1-2 punch here that's just or 1-2-3 punch that could be deadly going into the second half of the season. But the things about Bussi's game that I like is he's challenging the shooters. He's moving his he's not sitting back in his crease. I mean, you look at let's take last night's game. I think Kyle, you and I talked about it. The first goal that Bobby Brink scores on Kochekov, he's back in his crease. He's on his heels, and you said it last night. I think Russian goalies like to give that glove side, and man, he took it on both this first and I think the third goal.
Yeah, the third.
He got beat short side. So, those are the kind of saves that we're currently getting out of a guy like Bussi. And he's a big man. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he is. He's 27. So
he's older than Kochekov. Yeah.
So, but I love that part of his game. He's challenging. But man, you can't argue the kid in the shootout last night. It was incredible. I mean, his stick activity, and he's starting to get his swagger back. And I think that's a good sign that he's going to be. It may be the Kochekov Bussi show for the long road here, and unfortunately, Freddie's probably going to sit in the stands for a little bit. But to your point, just a few minutes ago, Cam, and I'll maybe not get off Brandon a little bit. If Freddie is expendable, which we know he is, what team out there is in need of a goalie and has sort of what we need, maybe at a 2C or at a, I know we're going to give up more than Freddie to get a 2C, but what team out there has that available to him You know, because guys we've talked about is Kadri but Kadri, they don't need a goalie in Calgary. I mean, they just need everything else.
Yeah, I mean, and are we? And I guess this is more of a public question, but are we still looking at a 2C? I don't think Logan Stankoven's played all that terribly. He's been good defensively. I think the offensive
Yeah.
numbers.
It's
Well,
a
let
small
me
sample
generalize.
size for him.
Yeah, let me generalize it then. You know, what team out there has something we're looking for potentially that would be enticing to offload Freddie Andersen?
I mean,
are we looking at a depth piece? Are we looking at a defenseman?
I don't.
You know,
That's the thing is that I think it's hard to tell what we're really missing because we haven't had our true lineup altogether yet. We're still waiting on Jacob Slavin to come back. We're literally just getting healthy on the front end. I mean, Jesperi Kotkaniemi has just come back like 3 games
and he
ago.
just re-injured his foot, so he's back out with that same injury.
So that's the thing. It's just like, okay, I think personally, I think Logan Stankoven has fit in the games that I've seen. He's fit in that 2C role. I think there's still things to improve on, but we also have to remember this is his sophomore year. A lot of guys go through that sophomore slump kind of thing. And so I think there still needs to be a little bit of patience with him. He's still very young. But the thing that with Stankoven is that I don't think he's losing a lot on the defensive responsibility side of things, which is a positive to see. Yeah, maybe the offense isn't quite there yet, but he's got all the skill in the world. Now, do I think I love that line together? Do I think that maybe there's a flip-flop or something like that with a different winger combination that could help? Possibly. The line's small, and sometimes they get caught playing a little bit small. So I think that's the only downside to that line right now, but they're starting to go. I mean, Ehlers has gotten goals in the past couple games.
He's been good the last couple of games. I mean, really good.
Stankoven tied it last game. So he finally got up on the board. Jackson Blake got the shootout winner last night. I mean, there's just there are positives to that line right now. Then they're finally starting to gel and figure it out. And like I said, me personally, yeah. Do we have the lineup that I think goes and wins a cup? It's hard to tell because I like until we get Slavin back into the fold and until we get our full lineup really back together and healthy, it's like, okay, well, we all know how big of a difference Jacob Slavin makes on that back end and the amount of minutes he can eat. And then when he's on the ice and eating those minutes, certain other guys are getting a lot more rest than they're currently used to. So they're fresher when they're going out there. I mean, I think Sean Walker has done a phenomenal job, but I think he's starting to gas out a little bit. I genuinely do. I think like last night the Washington game was a perfect example of that. That second goal, that was Walker's guy, and he just got caught kind of watching the puck, and it's just like those are those mental errors that I think come with all of a sudden he goes from logging 15 to 17 minutes a night to now he's logging 22, 23 minutes. Yeah, it might not sound like a lot, but that extra 5 minutes after 20, 30 games into the season, like that's a lot. That's a lot of minutes that you're logging that you're not, I would say, necessarily accustomed to. Now, can he do it? Absolutely. But having a guy that's a bona fide number one, a true, like arguably the best defensive defenseman in the NHL, I think there are guys that are getting there with Slavin as well too. And I think that a lot of teams are starting to kind of look at that defensive defenseman because of Slavin and being like, this guy's very valuable if we can put him in that 22, 23 minute time area. But I just, like I said, until we have our full lineup, and it's hard to tell what exactly we need, because I think some of those kind of defensive lapses just come from guys playing too many minutes. And could we get a little bit more offense on the D side? Sure. I think Gostisbehere's kind of been lugging the entire mail in that regard. Nikishin's starting to get more offense to his game as well too. I think there's still some pieces to his game that he's got to kind of sort through that are a little bit different than Russia, but again, he needs a little bit of time for adjustment and everything like that. One final thing, I just to kind of swing back to Brandon Bussi here. The one area where Carolina struggles with giving up, and we've been notoriously struggling for giving up, is the area that Brandon Bussi leads the NHL in right now. And it's high danger save percentage, which he's at a .880 in that high danger save percentage. Anything above a .85 in that area is lights out. So, I mean, the fact that he's leading the NHL in that regard and he's making those saves, because, again, Carolina, while we typically will outshoot teams like crazy, the chances that we do give up because we're so hyper aggressive, especially in the offensive zone, trying to keep pucks alive and trying to keep that's why we can outshoot teams like 3-1 some games, is because we're so active in that offensive zone. But when we give up those opportunities, they are grade A chances. A lot of them 2-on-1s, a lot of breakaways, that kind of stuff. And that's where he's been shining, is in those grade A scoring chances. So, I mean, if he continues down that road, like that's what Carolina needs. We don't need a goalie that can stop volume. We need a goalie that can stop grade A's, because that's what Carolina
100%
gives
agree.
up.
Yeah, 100% agree. So, back to the D side of it, Cam. I mean, when Slavin does come back into the lineup, who for you is going out? Is it Nystrom? Is it Nikishin? Who's sitting in the box at when Slavin does come out, or is it somebody else?
I mean, that one. I mean, for right now, I think it is Nystrom. As much as I like Nystrom, and I think he's going to be on the team for a long time, I genuinely think he's going to be a top 4 defenseman on this team. I really do. I mean, this is his first year, basically. He's a rookie, playing with Nikishin, who's also a rookie. I mean, they're eating heavy assignments. I mean, he has just been, and we talked about this after the the preseason, and we were all kind of going around, and I was very high up on Nystrom. Like I knew, you could see it, man, from the beginning. Like you can just see that he was head and shoulders above everybody else. He was noticeably good. And I think overall for the season, defensively, he's been better than Nikishin, for sure. I think his defensive game is more complete. Offensively, obviously not as much. Nikishin has the heavy shot and everything, so that definitely helps him. But overall, I think he comes out. It's going to be tough, though. I don't know. I really don't know who sits.
Yeah, I think Kyle made a good point last night. Is that it becomes more about contract at that point, because he's on a 2-way still, and he can go down back and forth easier than Nikishin can. So
yeah, you can't waive Nikishin.
No,
so
as soon as you do, he's gone. So
also, yeah, exactly.
Just one final piece on Nystrom before we don't have to get off him, but the fact that
we're good.
He's a 7th round pick. He's picked 219. Like,
I know.
What? The Carolina, absolute hats off to them. And this was a Waddell draft pick, so it falls under his reign. Now, whether or not he was the one that made the decision, I know Don Waddell is very high on allowing his scouts to call a lot of that portion of it. But whoever was the one that went out and found him in a 7th round pick, like, Carolina continues to just have those kind of defensemen come out, and that's it's exactly what Carolina needs. We need, it's what every team needs. The fact that you can go
he's
out
right-handed.
The fact that you can go out and find a true right-handed defenseman that not only is gonna be a good defenseman, but like Cam said, I think he's genuinely a top 4 defenseman. I mean, he's only played 4, 5, 6, 7. He's played 7 AHL games. He's already played 24 NHL games.
Yeah.
And he's been smart. He's been reliable. He's played well. He's earned himself into a 4-year contract already, 24 games into his NHL career. Like, a 4-year contract after that is exactly, shoot, that's about all we could ask for out of the kid. So I'm really, really excited. But yeah, Nystrom, unfortunately, he's the one that's the contract that's easiest to move. So because right now we're kind of hogtied a little bit with having that third goalie, that we only have 2 extra spots to carry other roster players.
You have to, so you either have to trade a goalie, waive Bussi, which would be the stupidest thing alive. But I wouldn't
waive Bussi, but
that's what I mean. That's Freddie, the last thing I would do. So at this point, you really just have to send Nystrom down to the Wolves. Yeah. You just have to send Nystrom down to the Wolves, as well as Nystrom's played, and as much as I think he deserves to be on that roster. Part of me would have said Chatfield, but I think over the last 3 or 4 games, he's actually played. He's playing a lot better. I think that coming off that injury, he was a little sluggish, but he's playing a lot better.
Yeah,
he was noticeably good last night too, and
it's
crazy because I think Ghost has been our best defenseman.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes.
On the
Yeah.
forward side, on the offensive side and defensive side, I think he's been absolutely out of his mind. I don't know what got into him this year, but he's played out of his. He's playing crazy good.
Well,
yeah, no, he's seeing everything really well right now, and so let's hope it continues. But to your point, Kyle, back about Waddell drafting and the Canes drafting defenseman late. You think about all the diva we currently, we don't have one now, but Slavin was a 4th-round pick. Pesci was a 3rd-round pick. So arguably,
Nickish,
some of the best defense, some of the best defense and some of the best, defensemen in the NHL. And they didn't have to come from the first round, So, I mean, you look at even forwards. I mean, hell, I think the most notable 7th-round pick to ever play probably was Pavel Datsyuk. I think was a 7th-round pick for the Detroit Red Wings. So
I thought he was 9th.
He was one of the last picks. Yeah,
he was at
there.
the very end, and I guess I did a look and seeing who's the most prominent 7th-round draft pick, NHL defenseman, and Mackenzie Weegar was a 7th-round pick, and he's arguably one of the top defensive defensemen in the NHL. He's up there, so he can, he plays good minutes, and he's a top 4 defenseman on the well, of course, he's on the Flames, but even when he was in Florida, he was still playing those very valuable minutes. And so I guess the message is you just never know. I mean, who's going to come out of, who's going to start playing. And, that's why they always say, back in the day, it's like, don't worry about how good they are as a peewee.
Yeah.
Worry about how good they are when they decide to grow up and get everything else and all the other crap around them going on, how they perform that way. So anyways, couple of milestones I just wanted to mention, I think are pretty impressive. And I mentioned one last night to you, Colin. I didn't realize he'd played that many games either, quite honestly. But Sebastian Aho, 700 games as a Hurricane.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I was like, it just didn't seem like, it seemed like he just started playing for us. And then Nikolai Ehlers, 700 games in the NHL. And then obviously, we can't go without mentioning the NHL record set by, the Bus, 10 wins, earliest goaltender in the NHL to 10 wins in an NHL career. So by far one of the coolest stories, I think, in the NHL right now. And I just hope that, the kid from New York doesn't allow the pressure to get to him. It doesn't seem like he is. And he just keeps playing the way he's playing because, for us to go deep, we need stability at that position, and the guys 100%. People are going to disagree with me. They play way different in front of him than they are playing in front of the other two at the moment.
Yeah,
especially for Fred. Yeah.
And it's funny because they're playing the way they used to play. I mean, even last year and the year before, they're playing the way they played in front of Fred, in front of Brandon right now, and you're getting Kochetkov kind of style of play in front of Freddie Andersen right now, and it comes down to what they can kind of trust. And so when you have a guy like Freddie Andersen in that, you're a little bit more hesitant to take those high danger chances because you're just like, I mean, they're probably going to go in, so we really got to kind of limit those down. So then you don't get that high pressure forecheck, which Carolina makes their money off of that high pressure forecheck. It's how we score a lot of our goals. It's how we play defense by playing good offense. And so when we can keep the puck in their end and the team's only getting 2 or 3 shots a period, like statistically that should be good enough, and that should be what we're at. But when you're out of those 3 shots that you're getting in a period, you're scoring a goal or you're scoring 2 goals, like that becomes tough. And then you start, okay, I can't pinch here because I don't really trust what we got. And I have to pull off here. And then you end up getting hemmed in your own zone because when Carolina, I mean, especially against teams that can kind of fly around in the offensive zone, Carolina's man-on-man does struggle a touch in that area. And then all of a sudden we start letting up high danger chances in the O zone or in the D zone directly, and when we're not getting the saves too, it becomes a whirlwind. And Carolina's not a team that can chase games. We can, and we're starting to get better at it because
the last 2 games we've chased.
Yeah, because we're kind of getting forced into the hand of chasing the game. But and I would argue that Washington game, quote unquote, we had to chase it. But I mean, anytime it's a 1-goal game, I don't feel like we're really chasing the game. It's when we start getting 2,
Yeah.
3 goals down. It's like, okay, now we have to really chase it. And that was what happened last night, where it's, we
Yeah.
go down 2-0 early in the first period, and it's like, okay, shit, now we got to chase this game. We got to get it back, and Carolina does. And like I said, we're getting better at it. We're getting better playing in that style. But Carolina's bread and butter is playing with the lead, and when we can get a big 10-bell save to start the game, and for some reason,
Yeah.
Carolina, we notoriously start slow. So we always start on the slower end, and we always end up giving up a grade A before we get an offensive chance. So, if we
Yeah.
can ride out that first 5 minutes, let that one grade A happen, and we get a save out of that grade A, well, then Carolina starts getting to their game. But that first 5 minutes is always kind of a whirlwind, where it's like, if we don't get that save early, yeah, it becomes a little bit tough.
Yeah, no, I think last night's game was a little bit, I think the Canes looked pretty good to start. I mean, it's one of the few times they look good to start, but after about the 10-minute mark, they, I mean, Philly just took over the game, and I think they were way better in the second half of the first period.
Yeah.
And I think, that goes back to, I think we've talked very early on that when Kochetkov doesn't see pucks early, he tends to not get so focused on the game early on. So I think that may have been a syndrome last night. But again, to start the second period, he makes a really good save to start the second period, and that launches a really solid second period for us. I wouldn't say it was as good as the second period in Washington. I think that was an absolute domination. The only problem is that we didn't score.
Hit like 5 posts.
Yeah, the name of the game in that game was the post and Logan Thompson. We'll, it's hard. It's hard to understand this team at times because, they're in a bit of I think they're in a bit of a rut right now because they're in that midseason grind, as everybody likes to call it, and it's just going to be interesting to see how they come out of it after, we get through the holiday break here and into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, like for me, I don't know if Aho's hurt or what's going on with him, but he has not been good the last 2 weeks. He just hasn't been good, and it's kind of really put the burden on Jarvis and Svechnikov to carry that first line because I just don't think Aho's been great.
I think
he hasn't been really good in the face-off circle.
I wonder if it's something with a wrist or a hand because he seems to be stick handling. He loses the puck a lot.
He does
more than he used to.
He isn't stick handling well, and I don't know. I mean, if he's truly hurt, take him out of the lineup. I understand you have to call somebody up, but I mean, I guess they're thinking an Aho at 70% is better than a call up at 100. So that's kind of, I guess that's what they're thinking at this point. But it's like that, but maybe give him less minutes. Don't play him 22, 23 minutes a night. And, I understand that he gets paid to have that responsibility, but I mean, it's going to cost us at some point. I mean, he lost his guy on the second goal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He was just out to lunch. I don't know what he was doing. He just kind of was standing in front of the net. So
yeah,
it's interesting for him. But again, I'm hoping it's an injury, not for his sake, but just for the sake of my sanity. Because if it's not an injury and he's just playing like this, he needs to get out of it then. He needs to snap out of it fast because we can't, the Kings cannot afford to have him playing like that for a long time. Especially going today too with the back-to-back. I mean, they play again today at 5:00. So, I do like that it's against the same team. I think that's how back-to-back should be. You should do a home and home against the same team. I think that would solve a lot of issues with, oh, well, you don't really know how to judge a team because they played off a back-to-back or whatever. So,
yeah,
I like the home and home back-to-back, so it'll be good. But, and then who knows about the Slavin situation too, man. I feel like we've just been, our heads have been buried in the sand on this since the beginning. So, I don't know. I genuinely think he had surgery. I really do. I think he did have surgery and they just didn't say anything. And because we're getting to that, 3-month point where if it's not major surgery, but minor surgery, you're at about probably a 6 to 8 week turnaround, which would, put him around the time when he started skating again. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think they're hiding. Obviously they're hiding it from us. So, but it's hey man, is he skating? Is he not skating? Is he going to come back? He obviously didn't make the road trip to Washington and Philly. So, and we're kind of just left in the dark, unfortunately. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when he's
Rumor
coming back.
circulating that he was at home. Or he definitely was at home for the road trip, but he was skating while he was at home for the road trip. So he is
So we'll
still.
see if he skates today. I mean, and even Rod said he thought he would be back sooner. You know,
Yeah.
Rod
Yeah.
was even like, I expect him to be back by now. Like, I don't know. If he hasn't had surgery and that's just like a nagging knee thing, why hasn't he had surgery yet?
Because
Like, why are
the
we
surgery would
rehabbing it? Like, doesn't make any sense.
At this point now, if it is something that's going to be an invasive surgery, it's something that's probably going to keep him out for the remainder
It's
of the
going
season.
to end the season now. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we run into the issue of, okay, like, LTIR him because then he can't play in playoffs because if we go up to the cap, but then I don't even know if we would go up to the cap because we still have $10 million in cap space. So we still have the room in order to go make a move. But it's just it becomes a sticky situation of just having too many defensemen in kind of the fold. So I get why. And maybe it's one of those things that it's like, hey, if we can get him back for this season and then, right after the season's over, we get him the surgery he needs. And then, that way, come December timeframe this year or next year, he's back and fully healthy and he's where he needs to be. Maybe that makes more sense. I just think that it may be one of those situations where, and I know he kind of went into training camp already kind of ailing a little bit from it.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, yeah, definitely it doesn't seem to be a small issue. It definitely seems to be a bigger issue, but I think they probably delayed a little bit too long in making the decision to possibly get him surgery if that's what it actually is, and it's not just something and in all honesty, it could be something like and I've had friends that have dealt with this, but like that Osgood Slaughters where you just get more fluid in your knee buildup than you normally should, and that's something that you don't really need to get surgery for. It's just the rehab process. But like if it's a bad case of that and you're having to rehab that, like it's painful. It's not easy. And knees, we all know if your knee is not good when you're skating, you don't transition well.
Can't skate.
It's really hard to backwards skate. Skating gets really hindered. And what is Jacob Slavin's number one asset? Is his skating ability.
Yeah.
So if he's not skating
Yeah.
the same way, yeah, he's got an unbelievable stick, but a lot of that comes from the fact that he can close gaps very quickly. So if he's not skating the same way, is he a help on the ice? Is he hurt on the ice? And that's kind of, I think, where he's at too, where it's like, hey, I want to make sure I feel really good before I get back in there, because if I'm not playing my game, am I really helping the team? No, because it's not like he's going to go out there and put up 70 points in the season. He's going to be a 40-point guy, a 30 to 40-point guy, and that's exactly what he is. But he's going to be the best defensive defenseman in the NHL. But if he's not healthy, does that help? Because he's not going to be able to do it at the same pace that he's doing it right now and not be able to log the same minutes that he's doing right now. And I know it helps with the minute portion of it, but shoot, I'd rather him be 100% than come back.
Yeah, me too.
Come back at 80%.
Yeah, I think our D has been pretty good, actually.
I
mean,
don't mind them so far.
I think their gaps have been really good. They mentioned it last night. I think he mentioned it last night that, and I agree with him. If the gaps have been really good. I mean, Shatfield and Miller and everybody really across the board, the gaps in the neutral zone have been really, really good. And we've kept a lot of teams. We're not really good when we let teams transition. It's a tough road. I mean, last night at the beginning of the third period, I think it was the beginning of the third period, or whenever we just scored, Jarvis scored, and then Nikishin makes a bad pinch, and they come down 2-on-1. Now, yes, I mean, Coach Echo's a great shot. It was right under the bar, short side. He should have had short side. I mean, I don't care.
You got to take the shooter. Yeah, you got to cover.
You got to challenge him. You can't give him any room on the short side.
Yeah. It's the same goal Bob gives up all the time. It's just something that those kind of play style goalies, they want to be able to get that backdoor area. Bob gives up those goals more than any other goals, the short side high goals, because he cheats off the post slightly. So
yeah. So I mean, nothing against the shot. I mean, the shot was an absolute laser beam. I mean, it was right. I mean, as small a space as you could get it into, he got it into, and but I mean, the kid's got to make that save, especially coming off a goal. Nikishin's got to understand, and he didn't play the rest of the game, so he's got to understand that you just scored a goal. Now's not the time to pinch. Now's not the time to make a fifth.
Don't make a 50-50. Yeah.
Don't make the 50-50 on a goal on a play that you may create momentum the other way, and that's exactly what he did. So I think that's more so the reason that he sat was just because it's the end of the game, and you got to make those. You got to be able to make those better decisions. So I mean, does it take him out of the lineup? No, but he's got to figure out how to make those better decisions. You know, he could have probably got away with it in the KHL, but you're not going to get away with it here. I mean, I don't even think the guy that scored was a top 6 forward. I think he was a bottom 6 forward. So
yeah, it was like their bump up line basically that scored
Yeah.
the goal. So
So anyways, I guess let's transition a little bit off the Canes, but some pretty wild trades over the last couple of days. I guess we'll get into who got better, who got worse, or who just stayed vanilla. I think that the two biggest ones are obviously the Vancouver the Vancouver Minnesota trade, which sent sent
Quinn
gosh,
Hughes.
why am I drawing a blank? Quinn Hughes to Minnesota. But I think Minnesota gave up a boatload for that trade. And so
but it's Quinn Hughes.
did they get better?
Yes.
That's the question.
See, that's
Absolutely,
the thing,
they
Cam.
got
I
better.
don't know if they did, because all of a sudden now you lose your first line center, you lose one of your top 4 defensemen, and you give up a draft pick as well too in order to get one player back. And that one player, yes, he's an unbelievably good player, don't get me wrong, but also he has come out and said on multiple occasions he wants to play with his brothers. So like, it's one of those
Yeah,
unless they
but
re-sign
again,
him,
that's
I
the-
think they lose this trade.
Yeah, that's the only part that will make them lose this trade is if he doesn't re-sign there.
And I don't think he does.
Yeah,
Because can I say Mikko Rantanen?
yeah. Well, this situation is a little different because he does still have a year and a half left on his contract, so he is still locked up through the end of the next season too, not just this one. So they have 2 playoff runs with him basically, and
Right.
if they sign him before the new collective bargaining goes into effect, which is next September, I believe, they can
It's at
still
the
give
end
him
of this
that
season. They can still give him
it's
an
the end of
8-year
the season.
deal up to
Okay,
the
so
end of
they
the
can still give
season.
him that 8-year deal with the guaranteed money and the upfront if he wanted it. Like they can negotiate that way too. They can give him more money, obviously.
I don't doubt it. They're probably going to throw, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to throw the Kaprizov bag at him. Like they're going to give him 17 and a half. And then all of a sudden, 100%, it becomes enticing to the player because it's like, I don't think even if he does go to New Jersey, he's not getting 17 and a half. Probably going to end up in the 12 to 13 range. And that's assuming they can offload Dougie Hamilton, which can we just all just take a moment and appreciate the fact of, remember when they signed Dougie Hamilton and they were like, guys, like this is a great contract. He's an unbelievable defenseman. Carolina is a bunch of idiots for giving him up.
We knew.
He's 3 years into his deal and they already are complaining and want to offload him because his salary cap is way too high. It's like, guys, we're not idiots. We know somewhat what we're talking about. Like we could see this writing on the freaking wall. It's exactly what we said. He's gonna stink. He has massive flaws to his game. There's massive issues in his game, and they're now coming to the forefront for
especially now that he's older too. Like he's only getting slower from here. He's not getting
any younger. That's right.
No, it's like I genuinely think Minnesota got better. I really do. I mean, it's Quinn Hughes though. Like he is the second best defenseman in the NHL. Like for sure, the second best. I mean, obviously Makar's on another level. Like nobody's touching Makar at this point, but Quinn Hughes, he already has 23 points on a Vancouver team that's last in the NHL. They're horrible, absolutely horrible, and he still has 23 points.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I just him and Faber too together. My God, man, are you serious? Like they're gonna tear it up, man. Together. I would not be surprised if Quinn Hughes has over 80 points this year. Like he is gonna be. I'm telling you, man, this is really good for Minnesota. Like I know they gave up a lot, and the only way they lose this trade is obviously if he doesn't re-sign. If he doesn't re-sign, they become how the Canes were viewed last year. They become, everybody's pointing and laughing, saying, "Look what you did." So again, that makes it interesting too. Is like if he doesn't re-sign, not necessarily like the end of it by the end of the season or over the summer, but if they get to that
They
next
go up to
season,
trade deadline and he's not re-signed yet.
yeah,
you got to offload him.
then what do you do? Then at that point you are up with your back against the wall. Then at that point, what does New Jersey give up to get him? Because that's the
Not
only team
much.
he's going to go to. Like,
Yeah, not much.
they might give up a couple first round picks. It might be like the Dallas package where they give up a couple first rounds and maybe
I don't
like
even
a
think
high
they
end
do
rookie.
that. Let me ask you a question. If you're the GM of New Jersey and we get up to the trade deadline next year, unless you are in a legitimate playoff spot, which I in my mind still I struggle to see them there just because they're the notorious for having a ton of injuries and it's just
I
comes
know
down
they've
to
been
the style they
unhealthy
play,
all
the
year.
soft players they have. Jack Hughes can't stay healthy. I know this injury was a freak accident, but like it's just like if they're not healthy, they're an okay team at best. They don't have the same depth that the other organizations have in order to really call from and make sure that they can kind of pull from that area. But you know, if I'm New Jersey and I'm like, okay, even if they're like a couple points outside of a playoff spot next year, going into that trade deadline, sure, maybe I'm like, yeah, we need to grab them. If they're in playoffs and they're like, yeah, do we have an NHL? Do we have a Stanley Cup winning roster? No, but do we have the pieces in place that can lock us in for the next 10 years? Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm giving back Dougie because I need to offload the money in order to make it work for him to sign that contract that he's going to have to get. In order, yeah, I know he wants to play with his brothers. He's not going to play at $8.5 million though. He's gonna need $13-14 million like to really get that deal.
I think
across.
he would take a cut.
He
take
would.
A bit of a pay cut
I think
at
at
New
13
Jersey.
or $14 million, that's taking a cut because I think he's a $16.5 million defenseman.
I
with the
agree.
new
I
salary
think
cap.
I think him and McCarr need to be.
I mean, McCarr, give him a check.
So I get
blank.
So I guess your question then, Kyle, was, do you take a run at him? I guess from
if I'm
the
New Jersey,
standpoint.
no. I wait till the offseason.
Yeah,
I don't have to
okay.
give up any assets. I don't have to give up anything. The only person
And
that
he's coming there.
Yeah, the only person I want to give up is Dougie, and that's just to free up the cap space. Like, there's no point in for
every
me.
other team's going to take a run at him if he's available. But I agree with that. I don't think New Jersey takes a run at him because they think he wants to go there anyways.
He already wants to be there. Everybody knows he wants to be there. So what's the point of me trading and giving up multiple first? Like I said, they would give up something. They would trade for him, but it's not going to be the same because it's like New Jersey's in a great spot in this regard because, again, he wants to play with his brothers. So it's like, two of them are already on the same team. Two of them are locked up to long-term deals on said team. What team do you think we're going to? Jack Hughes has got 6 more years remaining on his contract. Luke Hughes just signed an 8-year deal, so he's got 8 years. He's got 8 more seasons after this season left on this contract. 7 more years left on this contract because he's in his first year of that new deal.
Yeah.
So he's got.
What I found amazing, and I don't know if you know this or not, but he didn't have he had a no trade. He didn't have any no trade clause in his contract with Vancouver.
That's crazy.
I mean, how do you? That's insane for a guy of his caliber to not have really any say as to where he went. Is quite.
Well, amazing. A lot of those. I mean, you look at even like Elias Pettersson's the same way. Like he doesn't have a no trade clause. Like those. That's how Vancouver works. That's what they do. They they don't have. It might be a modified, but nobody on their team is like super safe. Like it's
what happens with a lot of and we can look back at our own team. Logan Stankoven doesn't have a no trade clause. Jackson Blake doesn't have a no trade clause. When you sign those players right out of the ELC, if you're going to give them bigger money, that's kind of the counterpoint that the player has to give up is like, hey, I'm not going to have that safety net of the no trade. That's when you get into that second contract where like, okay, now we have that no move clause. Like you're staying here, you're going to get the big money as well too. Like this is how we're going to guarantee this portion for you. But when you're coming out of that ELC, and this is what that Quinn Hughes is coming out of ELC, I mean, he's a 99 birth years. He's 26 years old. So when you come out of that ELC contract and then you go right into getting your first big ticket, a lot of the times, hey, you can either take a no move clause at $5.5 million, or you can take $7.5 million. Yeah. But we're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep pull away that no move clause, and you're gonna if we need the option to trade you, we're gonna take that option. So
yeah,
it's kind of
it's interesting though, because let me pose a question to you guys then. So if you're a player, players should play because they want to play, but does a player play different if he's got the security of a no move clause, or does he play differently if he's kind of on the wire saying I could leave tomorrow? and I have no say in it whatsoever.
I don't necessarily think they play different. Well, maybe I don't know. I've never been in that situation, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
But
Well, I know I'm giving you a hypothetical, so I
yeah,
mean,
I
just
mean,
throw a dart at the wall and see what
in
sticks.
my mind, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I could get dealt 100%, but like also I'm really playing because A, I love playing, B, we're playing in the NHL. C, yeah, my this contract's gonna end when I'm 28 years old. Do I want to be out of the
Yeah.
NHL at 28 years old because I kind of gaslit it for the first 6 years of my new contract, or do I want to play like I can play, and then all of a sudden we all know where the salary
Yeah.
cap's going. Yeah, that 8.5. I think he's on like an $8.5 million a year contract right now, or 9.5, something along those lines. So yeah, that contract's great. Yeah, that money's great. You're set for a long time in life. But okay, my next deal is
Yeah.
going to be 20 million. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that's probably a little bit more in the ballpark of what I want to go for, especially if I'm going to be a close to a 100-point defenseman every single year. You're going to get that amount of money. You're going to get anywhere from 16.5 to 18.5 million dollars. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to play my ass off even with no trade
Mhm.
protection, because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, like, hey, I want that big ticket coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think so.
it'll be interesting to see what else Vancouver does too.
Oh, that's
Like,
oof.
I mean, they still have some really high end players on that team too. I
I
mean, they
wouldn't be
got
surprised if Pedersen gets dealt too.
Yeah.
Pedersen, they got Brock Besser, Connor Garland, who both of
And
those guys just signed big contracts too.
this is
So
this is a big, and I don't typically say this because I haven't really loved how they've run their organization moving forward so far. Great, honestly, really good trade from both ends. Like, I know it
yeah,
sounds crazy because you give up one of the best defensemen in the NHL, but also what you got back, you got a number one center,
Oh, yeah.
which you needed. You got a number one center in Marco Rossi, and then also
Yeah.
on top of that, you get a defenseman who, by all accounts, from a lot of very notable people, is going to be a Norris caliber defenseman moving forward. Yeah, he's having a little bit of a slower start to his NHL career than some probably thought, but you look at him when he was playing World Juniors. Look at him when he was playing at Denver. You look at him kind of through his whole career. He's been a really, really productive defenseman, and that's like, hey, yeah, sure, I'm giving up Quinn Hughes 100%. Is he still young and still has potential?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But all of a sudden, I go from having a 26, 27-year-old defenseman to having a 22-year-old defenseman who has a lot of that same
Mhm.
upside and is going to
Mhm.
fit kind of where I think the team's moving forward, which is going to be
Yeah.
us. I don't think they're ever going to rebuild. I think they're retooling. And they have more issues to kind of deal with, so I don't think this is the final thing that they do. But I I I really enjoyed the trade for Vancouver side of things too. Like, I don't think they got fleeced
yeah,
out of this trade. I think they got a lot
Mhm.
back.
I do.
Yeah, they definitely got a haul, that's for
Yeah.
sure. No doubt about that.
And I'm interested to see, and I know we're really high on this guy here, but now Joel Eriksson X, the number one C. He's the number one center.
Mhm.
I think he is a perfect 2C. I just think that you run into that situation where now he's getting those. I'm not saying he can't take those top line minutes. I'm not saying he can't do this. I'm not saying he can't do that. And there was rumblings going around that Marco Rossi wasn't really happy in Minnesota, and he kind of went through his slumps and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, he was able to kind of play with a Kaprizov. He was able to play with a Zuccarello. Is Joel Eriksson Ek going to be able to play with those guys? I don't know. I think so. I think he has all the upside to do so. But hey, is that mean Minnesota's done? Are they now looking for a top line center? Are they now looking for somebody to go and grab? Like, do they have enough in the arsenal to go out and get someone like a Tage Thompson? Because all of a sudden you throw Tage Thompson in between Kaprizov and
Mhm.
Zuccarello, and you put Joel Eriksson
Us
Ek back in that second pairing. Well,
Mhm.
freaking
shoot,
Central,
now
man. That Central division is just
that
killer.
just that team is disgusting now. So it's like
Mhm.
I think they got better, but also worse at the same time because their forward core
Mhm.
dropped off a lot, and they get better in the one department that they're already really good in, which is on their power
Mhm.
play. They got one of the best power plays in the NHL right now, and now all of a sudden you add a piece to that, which is Quinn Hughes,
Yeah.
who is arguably, like Cam said, the second best quarterback on a power play in the NHL.
Well, I think the other thing too you got to look at is you know, they're going after some big ticket items, and I knew you mentioned salary cap, the changes in salary cap coming up, but if you start going after a guy like Tage Thompson to be your number one center, then you got Quinn Hughes, and then you got, Kaprizov. I mean, you're gonna have this, I'll call it the Edmonton effect, where you're gonna have 3 or 4 guys that got pretty much 60% of your salary cap.
Yep.
Yeah.
So does it really work? And I guess they have a luxury right now. I think that they're really solid in net. I don't think they have necessarily
Yeah, they're
a
really good in
issue.
that. Yeah.
So I think that's a plus. But are you able to fill in the gap with say 3 guys that are going to have to be at 3 or 4 guys that would have to be at 17 million. So that's where it becomes a challenge is, I agree that they if they sign him, he gets better. They got better, but if you go after, like I said, if you go after guys like Thompson, I mean, they'll be a juggernaut for sure, but will they be? I think long term, maybe short term, yes. Long term, no, because they're going to have to tie up so much salary in those 3 guys or 4 guys, whatever the number works out to be. So I just think it's going to be tough for them. So, and the Oilers, I mean, let's jump onto that train wreck.
What the hell was that trade?
I don't know. It was like, it's like Cam, you and I giving each other $100 gift card. It's like, what the hell does it matter? I mean, we just swapped $100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that, I don't know I honestly don't know who got better. And I was telling, I think Kyle or Cam, I don't remember who.
I think Pittsburgh got better.
I do too.
I think
Pittsburgh
Dubas fleeced him. I think honestly, Dubas put the bag over his head and put him in the back of the trunk of his car. Like I don't know what. And I know they're grasping at straws because basically McDavid's like, hey, I'm giving you 3 years. Like, what are we doing? Like, we got to do something. That wasn't the something I necessarily would have done.
I mean,
but what do you do? Like, if you're in that position where you know that this guy's like they're pushing you to get a goalie and you need to do something. Do I love the Jari acquisition? I don't think it makes them better. I mean, I don't think it makes them worse. I don't think it makes them better. I think it's just like you said, you're swapping gift cards. Like, I don't really know what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think for them to have given up as much of assets as they gave up, they should have tried to trade for like a legitimate goalie, not just, I mean, maybe call Vancouver and ask about, oh Christ, what's his name?
You got Demko.
Demko. I mean, I know he's injury prone, but at least, at that point, you could at least give him a go. Like,
yeah,
that would have been.
I'd been happier if they had gone out and tried to this move with Binnington. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if they just get somebody with a good track record that's been a legitimate number one at some point in their career. I don't know. I don't think
the problem with Edmonton though is it's not necessarily. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a net, but their defensive core sucks.
They give up so many grade A chances. I don't care who they have in
Evan
net.
Bouchard. I don't care what anybody tells me. Evan Bouchard has got to be the laziest defenseman I've ever seen in the entire NHL, and everybody
he's up there
raves
with Adam
about
Fox.
this guy. Everybody raves about him, like in Norris contender, Norris this, Norris that. I don't.
Yeah, but that's the Canadian market.
He's just not that good. He's really not that good. And you're looking to turn around a team. If McDavid really wants to turn around a team, he's like, go get me Quinn Hughes. Go get me a guy like that can play defense and offense and has the offensive upside of a Quinn Hughes.
Wow.
And he can play defense.
One counterpoint to that is yes, while regular season Evan Bouchard is absolutely horrendous, postseason Evan Bouchard is the most points per game defenseman since Bobby Orr. So
he's good in the postseason, but yeah, offensive wise, he's good in the postseason. I'm going to put that asterisk there because defensively, it doesn't matter. Postseason, in season. Off season, having a skate on the rink with his buddies, he's getting walked by everybody. So it doesn't really matter. But
I think it's another thing too is that it's not so much. I don't necessarily know that it's just him, but
No,
I
it's
mean,
not just him. I mean, we're beating him over the head with a hammer, but it's everybody. Like it's that
it's
whole
everybody.
decor. Yeah,
It's everybody. But when you got guys like McDavid and Draisaitl on the front end in a playoff run, they elevate their games. So they get Bouchard's going to have more time and space. He's going to have more ability to do what he does. So, so I don't know if it's all him, but
No.
again,
he doesn't help.
I'm not a big, I guess Cam, you're not a big Adam Fox fan. I'm not either. Thanks to the Rangers for taking him off our hands, but, and thanks to the Devils for taking Doug Hamilton. But I think Bouchard is one of those guys that, Darnell Nurse, I mean, it's just like you go down the list and it's just like, I think Matthias Ekholm has not been good.
They got rid of
So
one of their more serviceable defensemen in that trade, and Kulak.
Yeah. No,
They
I know.
did.
So
He's not.
I don't know, man. Like you said, I really think. I mean, it's a Dubas masterclass for that one. I'll tip my cap
Dubas
to
has had
Dubas.
some really good ones lately. I'm not going
He's
to lie.
had some
to you.
very, very
He's
good
been-
ones, and I think I think Dubas needs to realize too, and I do think he's kind of still going in this direction, is that as well as you started off the season and you started off hot, you're still in a rebuild. Like you still need to have, that's the vision. You can't get caught up in like, oh well, we might be able to make the playoffs and maybe only lose one game in the first round. It's like no. Focus. The focus is a rebuild. The focus can't be okay. We're going to try and make the playoffs and make it one round. You gotta keep focus on the rebuild. Which
if you do that, you're going to be in the first round every year.
You're going to be in
and out,
in the
in and out
cup
first
final in
round.
probably 5 years if you do it right. Like if you actually genuinely do it right and draft well and use some of those draft assets to get new players and stuff. I mean,
I struggle to say
work out.
Cup final in 5 years because the guys that are leading their charge right now are the guys that have been there and going to be gone in 5 years' time, which is Sidney Crosby.
Oh yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean. It's like but they need the young talent to step up.
It further reinforces the need to stay focused.
Yes, I agree. But the biggest thing with Pittsburgh is that if they're and I know it's up to him and it's up to, but like if they're really genuinely want to do a rebuild, they got to offload Crosby because he still has assets, he still has value, and you're going to be able to get a really
send him to the Canes, please.
You're going to get a blue chip prospect. I mean, if we send him, if he gets sent to the Canes, it's going to be Blake, it's going to be Stankoven, it's going to be. I'm not saying all of these guys.
I mean, I think they're going to ask for a lot of draft picks. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be draft picks.
I think it's going to be. I think it'd be draft picks and a prospect, a Nadeau or something.
It's going to be. It's going to be a roster player, a prospect, and a draft pick. I'm telling you right now. So it's going to, like I said, it's going to be Blake. It's either going to be Blake, Stankoven, one of those guys. Then it's going to be Bradley Nadeau, and then you're going to give up a first round draft pick as well too.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, it's tough, and I don't know. Like I said, if Dubas keeps doing these kind of things, and he showed that he could build a team. I mean, he built one in Toronto. He built a really good squad that, good during the regular season. Obviously, had some playoff lacking with all the guys there. But you look at Toronto now. I mean, they're missing Mitch Marner, and all of a sudden they're floundering. They don't know what to do. Like genuinely, I know they've had some injuries on the D side, but anyway, I mean. Like I said, and a thing to keep an eye on too is that you've been seeing more and more that, Kevin Adams is kind of in the hot seat now, where we haven't really heard that in the past, but now it's like, hey, with that, he's probably going to try and, throw a life preserver out there and somebody might try and grab it. So I think he's more willing to deal now than he's ever been.
I think
genuinely,
so too.
I really do, because he's trying to save his job, and look, Tage said it, and Darlene said it too. Like a year or two ago, they were like, "Look, if we don't get better, we want out. Like, get us out of here. Yeah. Like, you need to build a team."
I don't see a world where him offloading those guys saves his job. Because we're gonna jump right into another rebuild after just going through a decade-long rebuild.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, what else do you do? I think
you try to do the opposite.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think it saves his job either. But
You try
I
and
think
do
he
the
might think
opposite.
it saves his job,
Yeah,
with he's like, okay, look, we're going to get these assets back and we'll get good prospects back. Like, genuinely, I would give up quite a bit for Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
I genuinely would. Like,
But so my
the funny
thought
thing is,
process is
I don't think they're that. I don't think they're terrible. I
no.
think they have a good roster. I think they just.
in their last
I don't think
Atlantic.
I think they're just they're not managed properly. I don't think they obviously I don't believe they have the right coach. Never have, not from the beginning. But they have the right pieces. I mean, so I don't know, man. It's maybe
If
goaltending,
Kevin
but
Adams wants to save his job, he has to do the opposite of what we're saying right now. He's got to add to this roster. He's got to finally offload some of those prospects that they have in the system, and he's got to add pieces to this roster in order to help them get better, which he hasn't ever really done. Now, granted,
No.
I know Buffalo's on a lot of guys' no move list, and you got to find the right player, you got to find the right deal, you got to make sure it all works out. But him, if he wants to get fired really quickly, he's going to start selling off pieces, because what the Buffalo ownership and the fans and everybody else is going to be okay with another rebuild after, like I said, literally just going through a 10-year rebuild. No, the only way he saves his job is if Buffalo makes playoffs, and he's a piece
But again,
of doing that.
It's also, it's not just his decision on who he moves out. Like, Tage and Darlene have both been very clear. Like, if we don't get better, we want to get the F out of here. Like, get me out of here.
But I get that portion of it.
So he's going to have to do it, is what I'm saying.
I'm not
like, he's
disagreeing.
gonna have to do something.
I'm not disagreeing with that portion of it, but I'm saying that your point of to save his job, he has to offload pieces. I don't think that's a valid point, because if I'm the owner and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I brought you in to get us out of this rebuild, and all you're gonna do is put us back into another longer rebuild by offloading the couple pieces that we have that are actually quality pieces. It's only like, their problem has always been they're too young. Their roster is really young. It's a really young roster. They don't have the pieces around their pieces in order to be successful.
Yeah.
They need to add and I'm just going to use this as an example. When Pittsburgh added a Phil Kessel, that's what they need. They need to add those pieces where it's like, hey, yeah, it's depth pieces. It's pieces to add to the scoring. Yeah. They need to add another defenseman, and they need to get a goaltender. Like those, if they do that and they add, 2 or 3 depth forwards, they add a defenseman, they add a goaltender, I don't think they're that far off from making the playoffs. And right now they're only 7 points behind in the playoff race. Granted, they're last place, so they have to jump a lot of teams, which is not easy to do. And I'm not saying it is, but it's not like they're dead in the water. And like, for Kevin Adams, and again, if I'm the ownership and I'm sitting here and I'm the Buffalo Sabres fans and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm watching this happen, and all of a sudden it's, yes, I know Tage Thompson and Darlene have said this, but they're also under contract right now for our next couple of years. So it's not like they have a say in it. If Kevin Adams wants to keep them around, he doesn't have to trade them. They can request trades all they want to. If they want to play games, they're going to play in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, listen, you guys shut up. Hold on for a second. I'm going to go try and add pieces because I want to save my job. I don't want to be out, because of the way he's managed it so far. I don't think he's just saving his job. I think he's trying to save his career. Does he get another job in the NHL with the way he's handled this Buffalo situation
Not a
so
GM.
far? No, I don't think he does. So it's like, okay, if I want to keep in the NHL, I have to do something drastic. That's where, like, yeah, hey, Elias Pettersson's available. Now, is he the perfect piece, perfect ad? No, but if Vancouver's willing to give him up and he's got a no move, he doesn't have a no move clause.
Yeah, but you think about what you're going to have to give up, though.
But they have so many prospects. They have so many draft picks. They got like 22 draft picks this year.
That's what
they're missing. They're missing a guy like Ryan O'Reilly. They're missing a really veteran guy that can solidify that.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, go out, pick up a Ryan O'Reilly. Go out, pick an Elias Pettersson. You have enough.
I would say if you got a guy like that back in the roster, I think and Nashville's a train wreck too. Yeah. But I mean, a guy like him, he can solidify that room.
Yeah.
And he can send the message that Ruff maybe is trying to send. But I'm with you. To save it, they have to get better.
They have to add.
I think
they have to add.
Yeah. For me, it's more because I don't disagree that I don't think it saves his job, even if he trades everything. I think he's on his way out anyway. I genuinely disagree. I do too. But what I'm saying is that when you have high-end players like that, like I mean, take Vancouver's situation, for example. I mean, Quinn Hughes basically, without outwardly saying it, he probably was saying it to management. He was like, I want out. Like, get me out. And it doesn't matter. Like, you can't just tell him, hey, shut up, go play. Because he's not going to play. Like, he's just not going to. It's not going to be. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the team because he's not going to be playing as good as he knows he can play. And he's just going to be going through the motions, you know? So it's more of those where it's like, okay, he wants out. We gotta figure something out. And Buffalo's at that point where it's been very clear and made clear to management, like, hey, you got to fix this shit or we're going to be out. It ain't fixed. It's just as bad as it was last year. Don't be surprised if those guys are saying, hey, get me out. I don't care if it saves your job, if it doesn't save your job. I don't care if there's a new GM in here or not. Get me out of here. Because again, if a new GM comes in, then guess what? You're probably going through a rebuild anyway.
Yeah,
like the new GM's he's gonna put his stamp on the team. He's gonna be like, well, this is my team now. I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Like, I think both of them get dished regardless of who the GM is, because I think they want out. And if you're a GM in that spot, it doesn't matter if you're Kevin Adams or Kevin Weeks. Like, you're gonna have to do something. You have to trade them. Like, you can't keep them around. If they're not happy and they don't want to be there, it's not good for the team and it's not good for them, the player, to sit there and be around. And I know nobody wants to go to Buffalo. Don't get me wrong. I know that. Everybody wants out of Buffalo, but yeah, like I said,
which is so sad.
I think that's part of it. But yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think it saves his job. But at a certain point, it's going to come to a head where both those guys want out and they're not going to have a choice.
That's why I'm saying they need to add, because I think if you start, if you're Kevin Adams and if you're Rasmus Dahlin and you're Tage Thompson, and then all of a sudden you get, you make a deal and it's a prospect, you're not giving up any roster pieces, and you go out and you get a Ryan O'Reilly or you get a Nazem Kadri. You pick up a Nazem Kadri, now all of a sudden you have a 1-2 punch down the middle of Tage Thompson, Nazem Kadri. And then you go out and add a piece like trying to think of teams that have a boatload of really high blue chip. Like you go out, you make a deal with, I'm trying to think, Edmonton. Let's say Edmonton. You go out and make a deal with Edmonton. Somehow, some way, you pull, one of their top 6 forwards out of that group, or you go grab somebody like that, and you can give them a defenseman, because you have so many defensemen. You have a plethora of defensive prospects. Or another team like Utah, who also is looking for defensemen, and they have a ton of blue chip forwards that are really good. If you start adding pieces like that around Dahlin and around Tage Thompson, and then you go out and you get a goaltender. I don't know who would be available, but you go out and add a piece. Like look at how different Chicago is with Spencer Knight versus without Spencer Knight. Like, that's what a goalie can do for you, and they don't have a goalie. So you go out and add those pieces. Well, yeah, sure. Dahlin and Thompson want out. But if you now go out and you add pieces to the puzzle that all of a sudden make you not a contender, but it makes you playoff eligible, hey, okay. When Buffalo is good, and we've seen this firsthand back in 2006, when Buffalo is good, that is one of the craziest places to play. Like, their fans are insane. They lead the NHL every single year for USA Hockey viewership. They don't live in the biggest area, but even when their team's not in the playoffs, their viewers, everybody in Buffalo watches the NHL playoffs. Everybody in Buffalo is invested in the NHL playoffs. They always lead viewership, and like, that's a great place to play. It's just that they need to stop. They need to start adding pieces. Look, when Carolina, the first year Carolina was on the run, A, we got the right coach into place. But B, we made some big trade. Like, we went out, we traded Victor Rask for Nino Niederreiter. All of a sudden, Nino Niederreiter comes in, he puts up 20 goals. Okay, now we're getting some run support on the offensive side. Hey, we go out. I forget who else we dealt, but we got somebody else at the trade deadline where it was like, hey, great. Now we're getting pieces back. In the offseason, we go out and we add Dougie Hamilton. Now, yeah, why we have our qualms with Dougie Hamilton, he did a lot for the organization, especially getting right back into the playoff mix. He was a massive piece in that power play, getting a heck of a lot better. So you go out and add those pieces, and now all of a sudden, hey, if I'm Dahlin and I'm like, okay, now we're starting to head in the right direction. Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's my rebuttal is that, yes, we did change the look of the team, but we didn't get those guys for nothing. I mean, we traded Noah Hannafin. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is, like, to get those guys, you're going to have to give up pieces. Like you can't just because everybody thinks they're going to make the playoffs at this point. Like this is probably and this is a very strange time where it's like like 10 years ago you had like 10 teams that you just knew, like they even knew like we're not making playoffs. It doesn't matter. We're just kind of the farm system for other teams to pick and choose from as they so fit, and we'll take draft prospects. There's maybe 3 of those teams now at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. And everybody wants a starter, a piece in return that's going to fit into their lineup today. Like, and that's what I'm saying is like, yes, we can get, they can rebuild with just retooling and getting those big guys, but Nashville's not just going to accept prospects for Ryan O'Reilly. Man, they're going to need another forward in return.
Nashville is in the spot now where I think that they are understanding that they
got to blow it up.
Yes.
They have to. I mean, and that's what and even if they're in that position, they still want good roster players in return. Like they're not just going to blow it up just for prospects. They're going to, everybody's in the retool mindset. Nobody's in the rebuild mindset, really. I mean, Pittsburgh might be a little bit, and Vancouver's getting to that point where they're just going to blow it up. I mean, look at the Rangers. I mean, we all thought they were just going to blow it up, and they really haven't. I mean, they kind of just retooled. Are they good still? Not really, but they're better than they were, I guess. So
it's
interesting.
That leads me to, I guess we'll kind of maybe get into the final unless you guys want to talk about that more. But
no,
the questions, it's like, so for my question was what, and it leads right into it perfectly, Cam. What you just said is like, what team in the Metro, I guess, makes you the most nervous at this point, as far as being, what we didn't think was going to happen, starting to happen with them. I'm just curious of which team in the Metro you guys see as the most problematic team that we're gonna have to deal with throughout the season and into playoffs.
Well, if New Jersey can get healthy, they're definitely up there. But like as far as like a surprise, I mean, Philly for me has been really, really like they're really good, man. Like I think people are sleeping on them a lot. I mean, I know the Islanders are in second, I think at this point, but
they are
2 or 3 games in front of everybody else. But they're still winning games. That Matthew Schaefer's crazy, man. That kid is so good.
Yes.
Like at 18 years old to be doing what he's doing. And I know it's the Islanders and they're basically like giving him everything. Like he's running the power play. He's doing like he's literally on the ice 25 minutes a game. Like I get that, but he's definitely special for sure. And then obviously their big guys are kind of stepping up, but the Islanders I think they did Horvat or Barzell go down recently?
I think Horvat went down. Yeah.
Was it Horvat? If he's out for a long period of time, they're stick a fork in them. They're going to they're going to do the Pittsburgh and just go right back down to the bottom. So I honestly think Phillies, they finally got, they got a really good coach that's a player's coach. They got a lot of good players and pieces. And, I think a lot of their younger guys are stepping up, and I think they're getting okay goaltending, which again, it's kind of like with the Canes. Like if the Canes can get decent goaltending, they'll have a chance and be good pretty much every night. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's probably Philly. They've been the most surprising to me. I didn't think they'd be this good, but they are.
Yeah. My big one, and this is, I know it's silly to say because of how they did last year, but honestly, Washington. I fully expected them to take a regression. I thought that last year was kind of a flash in the pan just with the OV goal chase and all of that, but they're a really good team. And it's backstopped by a really good goaltender, the number 1 goaltender I would argue in the NHL right now, in Logan Thompson, and we all know Carolina is notorious for struggling against hot goaltenders, and so if we see them in playoffs and Logan Thompson's going the way that he's going, like I could see that being a struggle and being difficult for Carolina. And that scares me. I think they got a lot of good pieces up front. I think their back end is playing really well, and like I said, if Logan Thompson's kicking the way that he's kicking, man, that becomes a little bit worrisome. And of course, I'm going to give 2 answers, but it is what it is. I don't really care. If the Rangers make it in, there's pieces of it that don't scare me about that team at all. But then again, you have Igor Shesterkin, and he's notorious for just being able to shut the door in Carolina. So it's like Those teams still scare me slightly with the hot goaltenders. But outside of that, like I think New York's playing great. I just think that they're going to fizzle out at some point. The Islanders, I think they're playing great. I just think that there's pieces to that puzzle that are going to fizzle out here in the second half of the season. And even if they make playoffs, I just don't see them as a viable playoff team this second. Now, are they going to be great 3 years down the road? I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the NHL 3 years down the road. I just don't think that it's quite there yet.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you on this one, Kyle. Washington's really surprised me because they're like a team that, back in the day, there was always teams that we could not beat and had a really, really hard time again. We didn't match up well against, and they still seem to be that team for us. And they're the ones that make me the most nervous. I think the ones that I'm really surprised have gotten better is Philly. I agree with you, Kyle, or Cam. And I think they're on the precipice here of doing something really
They're close.
good.
They are.
Yeah,
They're
so
really
it's
close.
not-
They're like probably
they're-
2 pieces away from actually being a legit contender every year.
Yeah. So I just like everything about their construct. And again, they're getting, I wouldn't say great, but solid goaltending. But I think Washington for me is the one in the Metro that makes me definitely the most nervous. And there's teams in the Atlantic that are surprised the hell out of me too. So, but we won't get onto that. But so what do you guys got?
Well, mine's not so much a question. It's just I was doing some research last night and I saw arguably the craziest thing in the world. Cam, have you ever looked up Wayne Gretzky's elite prospects?
His what? His prospects?
His elite prospects account?
Oh, I didn't even know that place existed back then. But
They did,
like
but they went back.
his prospect thing, like when they were drafting, or like okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't looked at it.
So I think Adam is like the squirt age group.
It is, yeah.
So this is his Adam year. He played 3 years of Adam. This might be the craziest thing I've ever heard. So his first year of Adam. Any guesses as to like the point total that he had that season?
It was probably a lot, like
So
200.
he played 62 games. He had 104 goals, 63 assists for 167 points. That was his first year, his rookie year, as we'll call it.
Yeah.
His second season, he had 76 games played, 196 goals, 120 assists for 316 points.
Yeah, makes tracks.
At his third year, this is the craziest stat line I've ever heard in my entire life. His third year of Adam, played 85 games, had 378 goals, 139 assists for 517 points.
In a year.
In a
he's
year,
bagging
85
a hat
games,
trick
he had
every game.
500 points.
It had to have been. It has to have been at least 3 or 4
every
goals
game
a
was like 7 goals for them. Because you think about it, he's getting 3 assists and 3 goals every game.
So for the entirety of his Adam career, he had 3 years played. He had 223 games played, which over 3 years seems like a ton for that level. But he had 678 goals, 322 assists for 1,000 points. He was 4.48 points per game.
Yeah,
That
sense.
is ridiculous, man. I know.
Yeah.
I saw it last night. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. 517 points in a season is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not know that, but it tracks.
Yeah. When you have more assists than
but
anyone else has points in the NHL.
Yeah.
He was a special player. That's for damn sure. So, Cam, did you come up with one or
So it's more along the lines of, do you genuinely think the players care about the surface of the ice size in Milan for Italy for the Olympics? Do you actually think they care? Or is it just is this being all blown out of proportion just because, the NHL is kind of, belly aching and boohooing that the notoriously very well structured and a very well work ethically Italians are not doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Okay, so
Yeah.
So here's like to answer your question. Yes, I think some players care. Yes, I think some players don't care. And I'll get to this. First things first, 4 feet. That's the difference. It's 4 feet.
Overall. Yeah.
Like about the size of my arm length. That's not that much ice, boys. Come on. It's not. Now, if we're talking 20 feet, yeah, no, I think some guys would be really bullshit.
That's a
They'd
big
be pissed
difference,
off.
yeah.
It's 4 feet. Come on, it's not that crazy. Like let's call a spade a spade. It's not that crazy. I think some players care. I absolutely do think some players care. I think the players that are gonna care are gonna be the guys like like Connor Bedard or like even Connor McDavid, like the guys that play with a ton of speed and use the open ice really well and really efficiently. I think those guys are gonna care. The guys that I don't think are gonna care are the Tkachuk brothers, are Tom Wilson, are those guys that are like, shoot, I got 4 less feet. I got to skate to close on you and blow you to pieces. Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Like in reality, my desk is 4 feet wide. This is the amount of room we're losing on the ice. Yeah, dude, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. Like, come on.
And it's spread out too. It's not just like one ended. Like it's obviously on both ends. So it's 4 feet
It's
in.
not even on both ends.
It's
The
not even
offensive
that,
zones are
yeah.
going to be NHL size. It's the neutral zone.
It's a neutral zone,
They
yeah.
moved both of the blue lines 2 feet in. So the neutral zone's a
okay.
little bit smaller. Boys, like, come on.
Yeah.
Grow a set.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Is it width
You're
wise?
fine.
Is it the same width?
Yeah, it's the exact
Is
same
it just
width.
the length?
Yeah, it's just the length. The length is 4 feet
Okay.
shorter. Which according to the double IIHF rules, when they had the Olympic size sheets, it was 60 meters long. This ice is 60 meters long. It's just once you put 60 meters in, it's 196 feet versus 200 feet, which it normally is.
Yeah.
So it's like the difference is that the ice is no longer 20 meters wider than it originally is, because they're not playing on the Olympic sheets anymore. They're going to a North American style. So when the double IHF is doing their measurements, they're like, okay, we just take those 20 meters away, and now we're closer to an NHL regulated ice. We're still going to keep it at 60 meters. It's like, guys, it's 4 feet. Everybody needs to shut the hell up. The bigger thing I'm concerned about is there's not a damn roof over the building. Like,
Yeah, man.
let's be real. Like, and that's like a piece of it. The other piece is the ice is not down yet. It hasn't been used. Like, hey, ice, and it's kind of like a field. It's kind of like when the NFL, they always have these controversy around the Super Bowl because they use a brand new field that's never been played on, and you need some time to wear the field in. You need some time to wear the ice in, because typically what happens, and this is what happened in the Vancouver, and then Sochi was a little bit different because, I mean, that was the last time we saw NHL players playing in it, but Sochi, it was like 4 months out, they had their testing kind of happen, which usually it's supposed to happen a year in advance. It sounds like the testing's not going to happen until like a week before the games start. And so now all of a sudden
it's not even supposed to be complete until like 3 or 4 days before they start.
So that's what I'm saying, is that the ice testing isn't even supposed to happen until like a week prior to.
And again,
so if the ice testing's not happening, that means there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 skates on it before all of a sudden we throw the women's Olympic Games on, and they're going to chew the shit out of that ice. And okay, so what's the ice maintenance crew there? Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. We see issues with the Winter Classic, it feels like every single year, where there's ice maintenance issues because they throw the ice together in 2 seconds, and now it's like, yeah, they're playing 1 game on it. Okay, now times that by what? There's only 1 sheet of ice for the entire
3 or 4
tournament.
games a day. Yeah,
that's for the women's and the men's. It's a minimum of 3 games a day. That ice is going to be in shambles by the end of the tournament.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's a yes and a no to that question. I think some will, some won't. And it really just, I think what it'll do is it'll factor into the guys that don't have as far to skate, and they're more physical, they're bigger. It's really going to get crowded out there. So you gotta take a look at that too.
It's 4 feet.
It is. Yeah, I get it.
4
It's going to
feet.
get crowded. I mean, we're going to see a lot more. I think about more offsides. We're going to see a lot more. I mean, I just think we're going to see a lot more stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's still a sheet of ice. So I mean, it's probably like an outdoor rink that they all grew up playing on. So it's probably not much bigger than that. But I think, to go back to your question about the Italian scam, it's like, it almost, as soon as you said it, I went back to I don't remember the episode of Top Gear where they talked about the development of the engineering in Italy versus, like say Germany. Germany, they set up like steering committees. They do this, they do that. It takes them 20 years to build a switch, right? In Italy, they got a guy that comes in on Monday and says, "Oh, here's okay. Here's okay.
Yeah.
This will work."
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the guy that the engineer that was in charge of the arena was like, "It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Let's not check with anybody. Let's just build it. Let's not worry about it."
I'm sitting here and I'm like, I get it. If it's 10 feet, that's a big difference. If it's 20 feet, that's a massive.
No, I
difference.
get
It's
4 feet. I get it.
4 feet.
I get it, but it's still not right. I mean, so at the end of the day, I mean,
It's not what they
whether
agreed
it's
to.
2 feet, whether it's 2 feet, 1 foot, or 10 feet, it's just, the Italians are just, they're just saying, what the hell? I mean, we don't care.
Like I said, I'm
Let's
not
just-
disagreeing with that portion of it. For all
Yeah.
the people belly aching over this 4 feet, like I'm sitting here, I'm staring
Yeah.
at 4 feet right in front of me, and it's like it's one step. I take one long step, it's 4 feet.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
come on,
Yep.
everybody chill out. It's not that.
I
big.
know. I mean, but you guys have played on both sheets. I mean, there's been rinks around here that are smaller ice surfaces. I mean, the neutral zone doesn't exist in some of
Yeah,
those.
but Dad, that's like, okay.
And-
let me give you this exact example. So I've played on PNC and then I've played at the Cary Ice House. The difference is about 62 feet. That's different. Yes, 100%. It's 4 feet. 4 feet. 4 feet.
Yeah.
It's not like it's 20 feet. Like,
I think
chill
people
out.
are-
It's 4 feet.
I think people are belly aching about the wrong thing. I don't think they finished the ice. I don't think they finished
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
I genuinely I think people are focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on the size of the ice. Dude, I don't think they finished the rink. I don't think they finished the arena. I think there's going to be.
We're gonna be playing
I think it's
outdoor
gonna be-
games.
That's what I mean. I think it's going to be in the open air, and it's like that's what I'm.
What are we talking
Look,
about?
I genuinely I really don't think people understand how much the Italians just do not really give a shit if this gets done or not. They don't care, man. They really don't.
Mhm.
They're working 2 hours a day, and then they take a 5-hour lunch break to get drunk and eat caprese all day. Like that's what they're gonna do. They're taking
It
8
was
smoke
after one of
breaks.
those
They're just
caprese
smoking while they're
lunches.
doing
They
it. Like,
came up with the dimensions of the rink.
that's what I mean. Like, dude, it's. I mean,
Yeah.
I really think we're gonna get to probably mid-January, and Bill Daly, who I believe is the VP of the NHL, or like the
Mhm.
kind of the head honcho that's really overseeing all of this.
Yep.
He's gonna panic, and he's gonna basically be like, yeah, it's not even close to being done. Like this arena, like we might be able to play in it, but there's not gonna be any fans.
Mhm.
It's gonna be like it's not gonna be
Yeah.
done. It's just
Mhm.
like I don't think people realize that it's not gonna be done. Like people need to understand it's not gonna be done. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be finished. So
And
who knows if the players actually want to go there and play
the
if
bigger
the
thing
rink's
is-
not finished.
Yeah, I think
You
the
know,
players are
like-
going to want to go there to play. Do the ownership want them to go there and play? No. So that's the bigger thing is that everybody's like, oh, we need to find an alternative site. We need to find an alternative site. The Olympics aren't going to deal with an alternative site because we all know
No.
they're right up there with FIFA as being very corrupt organizations. Do you think they're going to want to admit that they fucked up and say, oh, no, we screwed up really bad here. We need to go back and, we have to find an alternative site. No, they're going to push through. They're going to figure out a way to put lipstick on a pig and try and make it work. The issue we run into is that the NHLPA has up until, I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks prior to the games. I think it might be a little bit longer, but they have
think it's
until
like a
like 6
month,
weeks
yeah.
before the game to say, we're not sending our players.
I know.
Yeah.
So
And I
we-
think
if
that's
we
why
wanna see,
Bill Daly's going to freak out. That's
Yeah.
why I was
Mhm.
given that middle January, beginning of January timeframe. It's
Yeah.
like
so it's
that's
gonna
when
it's gonna happen in that Italy rink. It's just whether or not the NHL is participating in it, which I freaking hope they do. But also, I understand from an ownership side of things, like the biggest thing that's worrisome to me is like, yeah, sure, the rink's not done, yada yada yada. It's not, you can't have a concrete block falling on your head while you're in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
Like that ain't gonna work. But if the ice has not been used, there is going to be so many knee injuries. It's going to be ridiculous because they're not
yeah,
going
there's
to be
going
able
to be so
to
many
properly.
ruts, and yeah, it's going to be horrible.
They're not going to be able to properly maintain the ice. So guys are going to catch ruts. They're going to catch these things. And then all of a sudden, like, oh my God, we have 7 of our top players are out for the playoffs because they're all torn ACLs and shit like that. Like, no, that's a bigger problem than I don't give a crap if the ice is 4 feet shorter. I don't give a crap if the stands are, you know, properly built or whatever. Shoot, no. The ice isn't in. They have to have the ice in. They need, while they're doing construction right now, they need to put the fucking ice in and they need to start skating on it right away. Like, that's the only way this works.
And obviously we know that's not going to happen,
No.
but I don't know. I genuinely think people are focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And they're focused on the size of the ice. They need to be focused on the fact that this rink was supposed to be done
A year
already.
ago.
A year ago.
A year.
And they're not even halfway done.
Not even
And
close.
now the NHL is basically having to scramble, and they're sending people over there. But again, you're going to yell at a guy that doesn't know what you're saying. Like, you know, he doesn't speak English. Like, you're going to start screaming at a guy that doesn't even speak English. It's like, dude, what is he? He's gonna like wave you away, tell you to take a smoke break. Like, you know, they just don't care, man. And it's fine. They can not care, but I don't understand. At a certain point, it's going to come to a head. I just don't know what they're going to do instead of doing the Olympics. I mean, there's probably a lot of arenas in the U.S. where they could do like a 4-nation kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of arenas that would pick up the gauntlet and say, hey, yeah, you know, you pick, you know, 3 or 4 arenas, you know, throughout maybe the East Coast, and just say, hey, we're going to do this instead. And, you know, I guarantee they're already planning it right now because they know. Yeah. I guarantee they're already planning it. So
or give the guys 2 weeks off still. Give them all the same time off. But instead of doing it in Italy and instead of coming back to North America, and I'm saying this from a point of view of like to make it fair in a way, go play it in Sweden and Finland. Go play the 4 nations over there. You're still getting that European vacation. You're still getting to go overseas. Those 2 teams are represented. I get it. Majority of the players.
It's gonna be a little bit harder though.
I get it. I know players are coming from the NHL. I know this, and this. But also, you don't think like, and I'm just sitting here like this is the first guy that pops up. You don't think Sebastian Aho would love to play, you know, a best on best tournament in Finland? You don't think like Elias Pettersson
I know
would
they
love
would
to play a best on best in Sweden? Like I think that would be a great alternative. It's like, hey, throw the best on best there, and then also add 2 more teams, please. Just add 2 more teams. I get it. I get it. There's shit going on with, if we're going to do this 4 nations thing, let's do 6 nations. Let's add Russia back to the fold. I don't give a crap what they're called. They could be called the athletes from the communist Russia. They could be called Putin's puppets. I don't give a fuck what they're called. Please put them back into the thing because I want to see them playing. Because could you imagine that team would be ridiculous? Like that would be so good. And like, okay, they're into the fold. Now all of a sudden it's a little bit more of an in-depth tournament. And then add a best of the rest team like they did in the World Cup of Hockey, which was like Team Europe, where now all of a sudden you got guys like Marty Necas going to the world or to this tournament. You got, you know, Anze Kopitar can play in this tournament. You got other guys that wouldn't normally make they don't have enough players to make their prospective teams. Now they can then go in and play in this tournament and be involved in it because right now, like Czechia is in the tournament. Czechia is in the Olympics. So with those guys, if they get folded out, like, okay, yeah, it's great. We'll do a 4 nations, but for guys like Pasternak, for guys like Necas, for those kind of guys, like it sucks because like all of a sudden we went from being able to play on this best on best tournament to now we're kind of screwed out of it. So add 2 more teams. Add, like I said, I don't care. The athletes that are in North America already did not do anything. Who gives a fuck? Just add them to the tournament. Who cares?
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, unless they're already planning it, I just don't see it happening. If they all of a sudden decide to plan something like that, I think it's just from a pure logistics perspective. I mean,
I think they've been planning it since 2 months ago.
No, I don't disagree with you, but my comment is only that if that's truly the backup plan, then there already has to be a plan in place.
Yeah, there is already one. I guarantee there is because they know. I mean, the fact that this arena is going to be done 2 days or 3 days before the first games are supposed to start. Ain't no way. It ain't happening.
You went away for a second when I was talking about it. Just like the fact that the ice surface is not down and like they need to have it down
agreed.
this second. They need to be skating on it this second because
for
The
sure.
amount of ruts that are going to be on that ice, the amount of injuries they're going
Mhm.
to cause by just the ice surface being in shambles, like we're gonna,
That alone would deter me as the NHLPA from sending any of my
as the
players there.
owner of the teams.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're investing
Just-
millions in these guys, and they're going to go over there to
they're
play
gonna go
on
then.
some Joe
Everybody's
Schmo
gonna,
through some ice cubes on the ice.
and it's not like you're sending over third and fourth liners. I mean, you're sending over
Your best
top
players.
your best on best.
Yes.
And so that's going to destroy. It could potentially. I'm not going to say it will, but destroy the league dynamic going forward after the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so I would be super nervous about that component of it.
Yeah,
You're 100% right on the ice conditions.
Like I said, who gives a crap about the 4 feet? It's all the other pieces of it that are the worrisome piece. Like the 4
I think
feet is
people
what
are
it
focused
is.
on the wrong thing as well.
Yes.
I
Yep.
agree. I think
So-
they're focusing on the wrong stuff.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, last spin. Anybody else? Last thoughts, and we're gonna shut this gong show down for. So, all right. Well,
let's go.
for all the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do have something. You guys
Oh,
talk
here we
amongst
go.
yourself for 2 seconds here.
We'll talk amongst ourselves for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well,
So you weren't really ready then?
no, I
Oh,
wasn't.
okay.
I wasn't ready at all. I just saw the black book of death and despair, and I want to tally up our point totals for what our things are.
Oh,
so
yeah.
here, Cam,
Yeah.
you grab a calculator, and we'll do this on air live, so everybody can get.
Oh no! All right.
So I will go through mine first. You got a calculator ready, Cam?
I do. Yeah.
All right. So Carolina's got 42 points. So 42. Winnipeg has got 31 points. Toronto has got 33. Florida's got 34. Tampa's got 39. Ottawa has 32. Utah has 33. Vancouver's got 25. The Islanders have 41. And Calgary has 30.
30.
Yeah, so what's my
That's
point total
340.
there? What?
340. 340.
340. Okay. Dad, we'll go through yours next. All right, so Vegas Golden Knights have 41 points. The Montreal Canadiens have 36 points. The Edmonton Oilers have 36 points. The Detroit Red Wings have 39 points. The Anaheim Ducks have 39 points. The Minnesota Wild have 41 points. The Seattle Kraken have 30 points. Nashville has 28 points. Philadelphia's got 37 points. And then the San Jose Sharks have 35 points.
362.
362. Now let's go to who I'm presuming is in the lead. All right, so Colorado has 53 points, Cam.
Good night.
Wow.
Dallas has 47 points. He's got the top 2 teams in the NHL right now currently.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
The Washington Capitals have 40 points. The New Jersey Devils have 37 points. The Boston Bruins have 38 points. The Chicago Blackhawks have 32 points. The St. Louis Blues have 31 points. The Columbus Blue Jackets have 32 points. The LA Kings have 37 points. And Pittsburgh has 36 points. Yeah, Cam's way ahead.
Not really. I'm at 383. I'm only like
That's way
15.
ahead, dude. I'm at 340. You're 40 points ahead of me.
ahead of you. Yeah, I'm like 20 ahead of Dad.
All right. Well, I picked wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cam's like the Edmonton Oilers, though. He's got those first 2 guys that are taking up most of the slack for him.
No,
Pretty much.
I mean, he's got Colorado, Dallas. Yeah, they're 1-2.
Yep.
He's got Boston, who's second in the Atlantic right now. He's got Capitals, who are third in the Atlantic. Devils, they're struggling a little bit. St. Louis struggling. The Pittsburgh pick was
Yeah.
crazy. So, but
Yeah, tortoise in the hair, man.
I know.
So we'll see how it keeps going. But All right, guys. Well, let's table this one, get on with our
Yep.
Sunday, and we'll see everybody next time. But for those that hung in with us, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.